Is it, in terms of Super Bowl or bust, the same for Aaron Rodgers?
For me, it is based on where he's been in his career. He's been there. He's been 2 straight years in a row. He's gone to the NFC Championship game. For many years, the complaint was he never had anything. We don't hear anything right about his receivers now, even though those were the same guys to a degree that he had 5 years ago.
He's always had pretty good receivers.
He's always had good everything.
Yeah.
We don't hear that. And if you package all of the offseason stuff and everything that's gone on since last year's NFC Championship game to where we are today, it's been a lot. And if we want to say he's the greatest quarterback of all times and all of that sort of stuff, I would think that you would have to put another Super Bowl on your resume. That's just what I think. Doesn't mean I'm right. Doesn't mean he can't be the great, but it just seems that way to me.
Can I put a twist on this? That's why when we went back yesterday and we were discussing Keys buckets and we were talking about Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, when I'm looking at quarterbacks in the league where it is Super Bowl or bust, Tom Brady, Super Bowl or bust, right? Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl or bust. Aaron Rodgers, Super Bowl or bust, right?
There's a difference.
Dak Prescott, I'm like, you're like, win a game.
Yeah.
You're like, win a game.
I hear you, Jay. I understand, and we could do a whole segment on that, but let's table that for a second.
I wouldn't even say
I get
Super Bowl or bust.
Here we go. Let's say with Aaron Rodgers for a second. No, I get it. I get it. The different expectations.
I wouldn't say Super Bowl or bust for Brady now. Because much
Really?
like Max is getting ready to say, because Brady doesn't have to go to the Super Bowl.
It's all gravy for Brady.
Yeah, he's just having fun at
7.
this point. He wants to just take another boat ride.
He's 44 years old. He's got 7 chips.
When the hell has Brady ever just done things to have fun?
Okay, but
Get
wait.
the hell out of here.
Can we tape? Wait, Jay.
Okay.
I just want to stay with Rodgers.
All
I
right,
hear
fine,
what
stay
you're
with
saying,
Rodgers.
but we could talk about this every
Okay,
offshoot
go
of this all
ahead.
day.
Stay on Rodgers.
So Rodgers, everything everyone always said. Oh, Brady has Belichick. Brady then wound up with Randy Moss at one point. Of course, if Rodgers had those kind of things, he'd be. What could Belichick do with Rodgers? Year 1 in the NFC. Year 1. Now Brady stacked the deck, came with a loaded team, added AB and Gronk, Lenny Fournette, the whole thing. Right, had everything. But the fact that those two met in the NFC Championship game, the ball got taken out of Rodgers' hands, and Brady winds up winning the game and winning the Super Bowl. Guys, what the reason I think he is right here, Jay, once upon a time, you needed to win a championship, right? Dan Marino never won a championship. Montana had 4. But Brady has raised it to such a – he's got 7. Mm-hmm. Now just winning 1, you're not going to be in that conversation. You got to win multiple.
I agree with that.
And prior to Brady continuing to win championships, up until a couple years ago, it was still Montana. Up until several years ago, it was still Montana.
That was the debate, Brady or Montana. Yeah.
It was Montana. But it's hard to say Montana when the dude got 7.
He's
it's
almost
hard.
doubling them.
Yeah, it's hard to say that. But when you only got 1, and on top of that, 1 trip to the Super Bowl,
and he's stacked now,
it's
Jay. That's
tough.
what
Well, okay, so I hear you, but would that change? Would that alter just the talent itself? Like, would it alter the way you? And as really to legacy, right? Even if he didn't win, would you still not say that? Man, talent-wise, he's just the greatest I've ever seen. You would probably say, he underachieved.
This is what I would
say. He's one of, because the guy who he replaced was a you-know-what with the football. Ridiculous. That dude, number 4, was crazy. They're in the same building. He has 1.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's the thing about Aaron Rodgers. He really did revolutionize things. Like we talk about Steph Curry as a revolutionary player, in that he's not only throwing 40-plus touchdowns, he's only throwing single-digit interceptions. Brett Favre, when people say, he didn't turn the ball over a lot in the middle of his career, what about 15, 16 interceptions a year?
But he took chances, ridiculous
yes,
chances,
understood.
though.
But so does Rodgers, and doesn't turn the ball over.
Not the same way as Brett Favre.
Brett Favre was trying to thread that football through a hole this big. If he could.
Get it, but that's not always a good idea.
Are you saying
that's just what he wanted? That was just his gunslinger mentality.
Are you saying Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers are the same, pretty much?
Okay.
If Aaron Rodgers doesn't get another championship, because I don't think I can go down that road. I still think Aaron Rodgers is better than Brett Favre.
That's pretty much in terms of what I've seen Favre and playing against Favre and watching Favre for all those years, and I'm watching Aaron Rodgers. That's the same thing to me. If a guy only has 1 championship, I don't care what nobody tell me. because I watched Brett Favre do some magical stuff, that crazy underhand, the same stuff you see Patrick Mahomes doing now. I saw Brett Favre do that against us.
But Mahomes
religiously.
But Mahomes improved that because he was doing all that stuff and not turning the ball over.
But
right?
I don't care about the interceptions, Max.
I do.
I'm talking about the talent level that you're gonna speak of when you say a guy being able to pierce the football like Aaron Rodgers and do those sort of things. Brett Favre was doing the same exact thing.
Jay, well, let's get to...
Except he needed to win. He needs to win another championship.
Yeah, see, let's get to the calls, but that's why. See what Key is saying? That's why. Because someone's going to argue this guy has talent, that guy has talent. And once you get to that level, what starts separating the guys, we start counting rings. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.